I sent a cease and desist letter to someone and they blocked me. Then that's when I noticed she's not only copying my product, which I already knew and sent her a cease and desist, but she's copying my content.
Hey, it's your girl Nancy Red, and this is season 4 of Mompreneurs, where we celebrate beautiful Black entrepreneurs who are also amazing moms. Now, every week I'm chatting with my guests about how they are killing it simultaneously as a business mogul and as a mom. We're listening to their inspiring journeys and incredible advice. Now, today's guest is a powerhouse. She's an author, she's a creative visionary, she's into fashion, an inventor, and so much more. She is Corine Marie, and her contemporary romance novels uplift hearts while centering mental wellness, but that's just one side of her creative genius. This book talk famous beauty is also the brilliant creator behind the book carrier bookmark, a handcrafted chic accessory that has sparked an internet fashion meets literature sensation. She has captured the hearts of book lovers everywhere and has caused a storm of social media support for her when someone else attempted to co-opt her creation. We are so excited to have you here. Welcome to Mompreneurs.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Goodness gracious. I mean, you've been an entrepreneur for quite some time, but before we get too far into that, let's first talk about who makes you a mompreneur. Who is in your household? Who puts the mom in your mompreneur?
So my husband and I, we've raised 4 beautiful children. They have all grown, except for we still have a 16-year-old who's at home. So she's our last baby.
Ah, so you've been there, done that. And so your last baby has seen this whole trajectory with your bookmark, and it must be quite an interesting change in your household to just go from being a mom with a bunch of dreams to a mom who's gone viral on social media.
She's 16, so she's at the age where she's on social media. So she's always sending me, some of my reels or screenshotting comments, something that somebody said, or screenshotting, something that looks similar to my product and sending it to me. So she's right there in the mix with me.
She's sussing out the ops.
Yes, she very much is.
Oh my goodness. When did you get the bug for entrepreneurship? Were you always business oriented as a kid?
I was. So it's so funny, as you grow into a woman and your everyday life, you do all the normal things as a young person. I went to college, I graduated, I got a normal job, I was working at the bank. I think it was about 2011, because I remember my daughter, she was very young, maybe like 3 years old, that I quit that job and went into business for myself. So one of my first businesses was I had a fashion studio where I made clothes. So I would make clothes, birthday outfits, for the women in my city. So that was kind of my first, business that I started.
Motherhood really did make you a mompreneur.
Yes, it really did. Because I wanted to be have time with my daughter. I wanted to be home, and I just felt like working at the bank was just it was a good job, but it wasn't for me. I'm a creative person, so it just kind of felt mundane and boring. And I wanted more.
Well, fast forward 13 years later, here we are, and you've got a lot more. Tell us about your, what I like to call hierarchy of hustles. What are the business angles in your world right now? You're writing books, you've got your bookmark, you do fashion shows. Talk to us about what makes up the bulk of your business.
So I'm the type of person that I feel just being a creative is a process of seeing an idea inside of your mind and bringing it, into the world, birthing it into the outside world. So whether that's with, I see fashion and writing as kind of in the same pot, because you have this idea, when I'm writing books, you can see this world in your head, you can see this storyline playing out, you can see these characters, and it's okay, let me sit down and just bring those characters into the physical manifestation. Same thing, with fashion. I see this idea in my head, a way a dress can be made or whatever it is, and I sit down with my sewing machine and I bring it to this physical manifestation. And that's kind of what happened with my bookmark. I was thinking, I was writing a new book that I was supposed to put out, but I haven't yet because my bookmark business just kind of exploded. But I was writing a new book and I was thinking, like, what creative way can I release this into the world? Because I don't want to like do it the same way. So I just thought about like what is it that I always do, like what is me, like very me. So I thought about fashion and having a fashion show. I've had three, maybe four, I can't remember if it's three or four fashion shows just like in my city. And they've all of them have been successful. Like people like to come to fashion shows. They like to dress up and they like to, take pictures and just have a good time. So I was like, I'm gonna do another fashion show, but I'm gonna marry the two worlds, the writing, the book, and the fashion. And that's how I came up with the bookmark. So for me, it's like all in the same, pot of things, just me like allowing my creativity to flow and try things and put it out into the world.
I love that. It's always so interesting. I often find that it's the thing that you don't care about as much because you wrote, this is your baby, this book. You've been writing books for, since like, 2015. You've been wanting to get your book out there. The book is what you cared about. The bookmark was just something interesting that you made, and it turned out to be the viral sensation. But they, so it's funny how business works, and it's wonderful because it goes hand in hand because the sales of the bookmark have obviously affected the sales of the book as well.
Yes. So the book that I wrote back in 2015 is like, has this, surplus of sales now, because people are just like wanting to support. Like I don't even market my book at all anymore. I like only market my bookmarks, but people are buying the book. And it's like, okay, like yeah, it's just funny how business works. It's exciting, but and it gives me, ideas to move forward, and it's like helping me. It's doing what I wanted to do indirectly. When I do release my next book, I do have a bigger audience now, more people who know about me, and more people who are, ready to buy it and support. So that's exciting.
And you're such a great example of not giving up, not giving in. We're going to talk a little bit more about what other mompreneurs can glean from you and your many journeys. But it's very important that you're a writer, but you aren't the classic writer who everyone says, oh, you should be an author. You are an incredible writer. You actually failed English.
I did. I failed my English college course, and I had to take it again. And one of the things that I remember my professor told me, she said, I don't want to misquote it and say that she said I'm not a good writer, but that's how I took it. And I failed that course, and I had to circle back, take it again, and of course I passed the next time. But yeah, writing was just a struggle for me. School for me in general was a struggle for me, mostly because I grew up in foster care, so I was always moving around, and I went to so many different schools. It was hard for me to keep up academically. So still to this day, like I'm not the best like typer. Like I never like traditionally, like I can't look at the screen and just like type. It's a project for me to like, I'm good at typing. Like I can, get it done now, but I do have to look at the keyboard. I don't have that hand-eye coordination.
Like you get the job done, obviously.
I get the job done.
And I think that's really important because the world in which you work, it's very difficult to break into, right? And you're coming, you do not have that many connections, and you were coming up. You were really determined. You wanted your upcoming book to be a success, and so you didn't just leave it to chance. You actually took classes. You worked on the education aspect so that you could know how to promote your book. You ended up doing so much more. Why was it important for you to not just listen to that teacher and their terrible non-advice and actually believe in yourself and get the courage to go after your hopes and dreams?
To be honest, I don't have a quitter mentality in me. Like I don't think it's an innate part of me. Like being successful, I'm very competitive. I'm like the person at game night who wants to win Uno. Like I'm probably a nightmare to play the Uno game with. Like I love to win, and I carry that with me in my everyday life. Like one of the things that like really saved me in life was I ran track. So I had that in high school. Well, I had it from middle school throughout college. It got me a college scholarship. It kind of, like helped get me out of my situations that I was in. But in track, I found so much success. Like sports to me was like a place where I learned like a lot about business and entrepreneurship. Most people, wouldn't relate it to that, or some people would if you played sports, but it's like you have to, like, you can't quit, like talent only takes you so far. It's in those little moments. It's like in your eating right, in your discipline, and you're showing up and doing, more at track practice. It's like really going the extra mile. Like one of my favorite quotes is "Go the extra mile. It's never crowded." And I really like let that play in my head all the time. Like go the extra mile. It's never crowded. Like what would the extra mile be in this situation? So for me, taking marketing classes and really leaning into and learning social media marketing was really something that in my mind, I was like, what is the extra mile? Like, I know how to create something, but I don't know how to market. So the natural next step to me would be, we'll learn how to market, take some marketing classes. So that's what I did.
I think that's one of the great things about you is you have not deleted the past. It's very clear to see the trajectory of where you've come, because so many of us are so stressed out. Social media, you can absolutely agree, is crucial to success in 2025 and beyond, right?
So I've had several videos reach over 1 million people. Some, like one of my biggest one is like 4 million like views, over 4 million. But I've had several do 3, do 2 million, and like, in what world would you be able to reach that many people? You know what I mean? It's like, and for free. Like, I haven't paid for any ads for my bookmarks at all. Like, they just kind of went viral once, and then over and over and over and over.
And you created these bookmarks and started marketing them and getting them ready to go out to market. Would you say about like a year ago, like around October 2024?
Yes, and October 24 is when I put out my first bookmark post.
And you started, and you thought you were prepared. You had done your marketing, you had your bookmarks, you had your posts, you had a stock of about 100, trying to see if maybe you could sell out. And you very quickly realized that was not going to be enough. Talk to us about the beginning processes of marketing these bookmarks that everyone now knows and everyone has now seen.
Yeah, so my go-to for selling was always like markets, like vendors tables, like pop-up shops. So that's how I sold like a bulk of my books. Like we have something in our city called First Friday. First Friday is like a festival that everybody comes out to every first Friday of the month. And, there's food trucks, there's just all kind of cool stuff. Just, a festival. And it's really a fun place to be. But I'm like always out there with my books. And one of the things that I've noticed from those vendors tables is if you set your space up really pretty, that people will just come over just because it looks nice. They don't know what you're selling. They just came up to me and they would say that all the time. They'd be like, I don't know what you're selling. I just came over here because it was so pretty. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I'll ask them if they're a reader. And some people were and some people were not. So for me, when I started my bookmarks, I was thinking this is going to be another item that I could offer at my vendor's table. It was around the holidays, so I signed up for like a holiday market that was going to go on, and I was like, okay, I have 100 of them. If I sell out all 100 of these, I'll know that it's a good idea, because I didn't know it was a good idea. I just liked it. So I was like, that's how I know it's a good idea. Well, I put it online, and it first went viral on Threads. I sold like 4 that week, and I was like, oh, I sold 4 bookmarks, let me make another post. Then the next week I sold like 10 to 20, and I was like, oh. And then like the week after that, like I sold all of them, and I didn't even make it to the vendors, market. So I, ended up calling them, to let them know that I wouldn't be there. I lost my deposit, which was only like $100. But I was like, oh, I'm not going to be there. And that was like the beginning of it. It's like, okay, like, I guess we're, on social media now.
So in 3 weeks, you sold out of all of your inventory, and you still were going viral. So you took advantage of it and you made it back ordered. People could place an order, but very quickly that became very overwhelming.
It became so overwhelming because I was just sitting there like all day. Like I went from selling 100 in 3 weeks to having like 1,000 orders on back orders. And I was up like literally like sometimes I wouldn't go to bed until like 2 in the morning. Then I would wake up at like 5, or sometimes wouldn't go to bed till 1 and wake up at like 3 or 4 because I just had it like on my heart. Like I can't take people's money and not, deliver a product. So I just like couldn't sleep. I was like, okay, let me get up and get these orders done. And the orders just seemed like nonstop. And then at one point I turned my website off and I was like, okay, like I have to find somebody to help me sew. So I went through the process of looking, for sewing companies, cut and sew manufacturers, and I found one that worked for me. And yeah, I'm still working, with her right now, but it's like even bigger, and I still need help. So I'm like, okay, like I'm in a process of looking, like to scale it even bigger.
That's amazing. So, okay, it's been almost a year. How many bookmarks have you sold with all? Because it's always interesting to see how the millions of views translate. And this is with you cutting on and off the ability to buy every now and then. How many bookmarks would you say you have sold since you first started marketing them in October 2024?
If I can guess, because I kind of stopped counting, like the last time I really counted, it was like 10,000.
Wow.
So it's like over 10,000. Like
That's insane.
Yeah. And then last month when I told, my story, I know we're going to get into that. Like I sold so many, like it was just like I'm still recovering from that, that time period. Like I haven't like done, my inventory or anything. Like it looks a mess in my workspace.
It's absolutely incredible. And it's so funny because, there's a phrase, there's no such thing as bad publicity. And one of the things that you have going for you is a very specific ethos, a vibe that everyone loves. And with success, sometimes comes copycats. And have you talked to us about what happened? How far into your success? Okay, so October 2024, you start designing and marketing these bookmarks that you were going to just sell at a fair, but you ended up selling out overnight online, basically in a few weeks, and turning into thousands and thousands of pre-orders for when you could finally get to them. At what point in this journey did other people start noticing what you had created?
I would say around May of, this year, 2025, that I started seeing, some copies of my product online. So yeah, around May.
And when you first saw that, because the instinct is often just, oh man, this is awful. How did you turn this into, what did you think about strategically how to manage this?
So pretty early on, like when I first put it out, like a lot of the comments were like, girl, you better get a patent. Girl, you better, protect your business. You better this, which was very overwhelming because I'm new to business. Even though I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, like there's levels to business. So for the longest time, you can get away with just having your LLC and, your vendor's license and, paying your taxes twice a year. But then like I figured out that I hit another level of business, which comes with, you need to have a patent, like you need to like legally be able to protect, like what you're building. So then that came into, okay, like you hire a patent attorney, a patent attorney costs thousands of dollars,
tens of thousands of dollars to get through, and you don't have any guarantee. It's like dating.
Yes. So that right there is enough to like take your breath away. Like you want me to pay $10,000 without a guarantee? It just feels like a gamble that is not worth taking, But there's something called they have a provisional patent, non-provisional patent. So I forget which one is which, but I believe the provisional patent is like, you can, put your stake in the ground and say like, hey, I was here first, and you have a certain amount of time to file your your non-provisional patent, like, which is like your real patent that's going to cost you thousands of dollars. So early on, I kind of went ahead and did that. I was like, okay, like, this is what I can afford right now. Let me go ahead and do, my provisional patent so I can put my stake in the ground, until I can get things figured out with my patent attorney, because there was like different iterations of the design that I'm still working around too. So one thing I love about social media and TikTok, and like, your customers will tell you what they want. They'll point out your flaws and like what you can do better. So the bookmark was still like evolving around that time too. So just filing that non-provisional patent was like really good for me so I can know, like, okay, I need to patent this particular part and this particular part. So that was really good. So that was like early, like January, February.
So, okay, so before the chaos ensued, you had already taken steps to protect your brand.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you are a great mompreneur. You are a great role model. So this was just anticipatory. And so you were actually prepared when things unravel. So what is your advice to people listening who might want to skip out on spending the extra money to do things right from the beginning and to protect your work?
If you see that you really, or if you believe that you really are onto something, like, it's almost like you have to. And I think one of the things that goes along with businesses, especially like being a woman of color, and to know like how we are traditionally treated when it comes to business, like we're underfunded and all those things. Like, you really have to advocate for yourself, and you really have to take the necessary steps so that you can build generational wealth. That's what business is, like, when you talk about it, speaking generally, it's an investment. Like, you have to invest your time, you have to invest your money so that it can continue to grow, so that you continue to scale. So you just have to do it.
So you did it and you were prepared. But the thing is, what people don't realize, you can't just, you filed for this, but it doesn't just automatically, you still have to take action when people are operating, which is not fun. It doesn't feel good. That's not the vibe you were going for when you created the bookmark.
No. Yeah. So whenever you file a patent, it takes a minimum of a year to even be granted. But you can send cease and desist. So I've sent, about 3 or 4 cease and desist letters, letting people know that I have a patent pending, and you can't, just infringe on, my patent. And a patent, a lot of times too, is like whoever can prove that they did it first, So the thing that I have going for me is my social media. Like, my videos have been there, since October, versus, you can see some of other people's videos that are just popping up in, May, June, whatever. So that I have that going for me. And also, my website too. Like, they can go back and look at the length of, your website, and the length of, how long the product has been there.
So you got receipts, in other words.
I got receipts.
How have the cease and desist letters been received?
So what kind of happened to me was, I sent a cease and desist letter to someone, and they blocked me. Like, she didn't ignore me. She told me like her product was different than mine, and then she blocked me. So I was like, okay. And I was gonna let it go. I was gonna let it go until I had all of my patent was granted, and everything was in order. But then I started, like, more and more people kept tagging me, like, hey, this lady's copying your product. This lady's copying your product. And I saw that I was blocked. And then I was like, let me go actually look at and see what she's doing. And then that's when I noticed she's not only copying my product, which I already knew and sent her a cease and desist, but she's copying my content, like things that are just like unique to like what I was like. I was at, a book festival, and I met one of my favorite authors, and I surprised her with a bookmark because we were going back on social media, and she was like, oh, I want to meet the author. She said, oh, I really want to meet you. So I was like, okay, let me go and meet her. And I like recorded that and put it out on my social media. and that video like went viral. And then I saw she did the same exact thing. And it's just like little things, like the way that I was marketing, like with these, purse, it was like so many things that weren't a coincidence at that point. And the thing that like really took me over the edge was I saw an influencer who had like 900,000 followers, like very, close to 1 million followers. And she's like showing this bookmark, and she's like naming somebody else as the creator of it, because that's how she was presenting it on her profile. She was like, I am the creator of this bookmark that turns your book into a purse. I was like, the audacity, you know what I mean? And like, I thought about it for a couple days, because I'm not the type of person, like, I don't like conflict.
You're a lover, not a fighter. You just want to read your books, you want to write your books, you want to sell your bookmarks and live your life.
Absolutely. I do not want to be in social media drama. Like, I just don't. But the more I thought about it, it's like, if you don't advocate for yourself, then who will? Like, if you're trying to build this business and you're doing all the things right and you're doing it right legally, then why would you stay silent? So I made the video, and even in the video, I got backlash. People were saying, this is business. That's what people do. You gotta let other people eat, whatever. And I'm like, that's just like such a toxic mentality. But here I am, like, I'm advocating for myself, and I'm just not gonna back down, So she ended up, making a public apology. So I don't know. She's still selling her bookmarks, but we'll it's just like all a learning curve, like figuring it out.
But she's selling her bookmarks, but you also selling your bookmarks. And are you selling more bookmarks than you were selling before the TikTok drama?
Oh, absolutely, like 10 times more.
So what is your advice for other mompreneurs who might find themselves in a similar situation? And should you approach the audacity, or should you shy away?
Oh, don't shy away. Like, you are your main source of advocating for yourself. So people treat you how you allow them to treat you. So when people know that you are going to stand up for yourself, and you are going to not even stand up for yourself, but claim what you created. Like, this is your intellectual property.
Well, and generally speaking, everyone's treating you very well. I mean, you have been beloved ever since you came out with this. Like, you were viral before the chaos, right? You have had a really good run, and it's going to be exciting to see what happens next. What have been some of your favorite reactions from customers or fellow book lovers?
I think in general, just seeing how much people love it, just seeing people, tag me in their videos, and they're wearing their books around, or they're, proudly showing off their spicy books, which I think is hilarious. So just seeing how much people are having fun with it and loving it and taking time. Like, for me, I really think reading a physical copy of a book is like such a huge form of self-care, because you like really can't do anything else but to sit down, open your book up, and just be transported into the world the author, has prepared for you.
You mentioned the person with 900,000 followers supporting the other bookmark. Have any celebrities or interesting people reached out to you about your products?
I just, did a collaboration with Liquid IV, which is super fun. I have some things, that are in the works. I just announced a collaboration I'm doing with Jaquel J, who's an indie author, but she's just like doing her thing, Everybody loves her books. I love her. I love her books too. They're so addictive. But yeah, I have like so many collaborations that are pending, and I'm super excited about them.
Are there tools that you find to be very helpful that you think a lot of people might sleep on?
Allowing people to come in and help me. I remember like my first surplus of orders when I first went viral. My best friend, she said, "Hey, if you need any help, just let me know." I was like, "Okay, girl." And one day I was just sitting there, and I called her. I was like, "You told me to call you if I needed any help." And she has been here sometimes at my house every single day, helping me get through the orders. She has been here just whenever I need her. And then, asking for more help, from my other friends. So I've had like five, 5 to 6 people and just like constantly helping me, just being there for me. And it's funny, like to see like how everything aligns in your favor. It's like they have the time to help me at the exact moment where I need help. So it's like, let them help you.
I love that. And then you've got your daughter scrolling social media on your behalf. How else is she involved? Does she want to also follow in your entrepreneurial footsteps?
Oh yeah, she's so she helps me too. So it's like her part-time job. So her and her friends, I've hired them. They come to work sometimes after school. Um, yeah, they get the job done. Yeah, and I think like just seeing me on social media too. Like she has her she's a track star. She like followed my footsteps with that. But we're like learning how to use social media to, like get her scholarships and, take her to the next level in that as well. So yeah, she's learning a lot. She's right here along for the ride. Her and her friends.
Oh, I love that. Well, what is the legacy that you think you're leaving that you want to continue to leave for her, her friends, and future generations?
I think the biggest legacy is allowing yourself to dream and believing in the impossible. I think I was conditioned to think a certain type of way. Like you go to school, you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a job, and you just work that job. For me, entrepreneurship was just very much a part of me, like as a creative, like learning like the different things, the branding, the marketing, and being able to pursue my dreams in that way. Like there wasn't a lot of people telling me like, you can be an entrepreneur, you can be an entrepreneur. So for me, one of the things that I pass down to her is pursue your dreams. Like she's always loved music. So she plays cello, she plays the keys, she sings, and she's always said she wanted to be a singer, she wants to be a musician. And for me, it's like, okay, like as an entrepreneur, like learning how to brand yourself and show up online, it's like that is very much possible. A lot of people would tell her, like in my generation, like, well, what are you going to do to support yourself, while you're, trying to, become this? And like me, I'm telling her, like, it's very much possible. This is what you have to do. Like show up online. Like you can get brand deals. You can, like there's so many ways that you can support yourself. There's so many avenues for you to live out your dreams. So you just have to go for it. You have to start doing it. Put some actions behind the things that you're dreaming, and let them unfold for you.
I love that. And no better messenger than you. I mean, when you look back at you at 16, the age your daughter is now, you were in foster care. You've come so far. You've come from that to a six-figure business that has so much space for growth. What would you say to that little girl who did not know what was in store for her back then?
Wow. Well, I was adopted by then. I got adopted when I was 12. So at 16, I had, a family that I was living with. And I don't feel very different from her in a lot of ways. A lot of ways I do feel different, and a lot of ways I don't. But when it comes to like entrepreneurship, and like I feel like my life has always been aligned like this. At 16, I was a track star.
You had already gotten it together. We need to be talking to maybe 6-year-old you.
Oh, this is so funny. But at 16, even before social media, like I was popular because I was like in the paper like almost every week, like on the front page of sports, and getting interviewed, just about like track. But that's why I say I learned a lot about entrepreneurship from, track, just because, for me, it goes hand in hand. So 16-year-old me, I feel like I took a lot of those lessons that I've learned about grit and about like wanting to just win in my own definition of winning. And I use them still today.
I love that. And you just busted it. You believe in yourself, you set goals, and you made it happen. And you did the work. You didn't just go on social media. It looks easy. It looks quote unquote cringy sometimes, but you had methodology that you had taken classes for behind that. You had done the work for years beforehand. So it shows in how it's not just an overnight success, even though it seemed like it. What is your message to the moms listening who think, oh, you know, I've got too much going on. I got this kid, I got this life, I have this past trauma. How can they rearrange their mind and be more like you?
Well, I think one of the biggest like motivators for me is being a mom. Like I obviously wanted my daughter to have such a different life than the one that I grew up living. So like she's like my biggest motivation. I think I really got serious because I wanted to buy her a car. And it seems like such, you know, like such a simple, normal thing. But I was looking, me and my husband, we were talking about buying her a car, and my husband, he was like, well, we could, you know, get her, you know, whatever car. And for me, I remember my mom buying me like this $100 car when I first got my license, and I just felt like it's like something that takes away from your confidence when you don't have the things that you need, or like this $100 car, like the brakes kept going out of it. It was just like a unsafe car, but it was like kind of like what was given to me, like what we could afford. And like I grew up like that a lot of times. Like in foster care, you don't have a lot of money. And even when I got adopted, you know, like I didn't get adopted into like a house with a silver spoon. Like she was still struggling. She had it was a bunch of kids in that house. She adopted like 5 of us at one time. And it was like she was just doing what she could afford. So for me, I was like, I don't want to just give my daughter just anything, you know. Like I was about to say I don't want to give her what I can afford, which in some sense that seems like, well, you have to give your kids what they can afford. But it's like what I could afford was depending on the effort that I was putting into my everyday life. So I was like, let me put more effort into life so I can give her like more. So I want her to be able to me, it just came with like confidence, you know, like I wanted her to have high confidence, you know, that she has the things that she needs in the world. So even just seeing her today get into her car or drive off to school, and she's like, I love my car, you know, like it just feels so good, you know, as a mom to, you know, be able to do those type of things for your children.
I love that story so much. It is the ultimate mompreneur story because it happened like that. That makes sense that all of this happened in the year. You've been working on being a mompreneur since 2015. You quit your job when she was 3. You were like, I cannot do this. You've been trying to figure out the right hustle. The impetus was I didn't want her to have a raggedy car like I had to have. And so here we are, a year later, she's 16, and your mompreneur dreams have come true, and so have hers. So what's next? Because we cannot just stop at a car. We must have bigger, loftier goals for not just your daughter, but also your husband and yourself as well. So I can't let you leave without asking my favorite question, which is our mompreneur manifestation question. What are you trying to make happen for yourself and your business in the next year or so?
So my dreams of being an author, and not just like someone with a book, but an author that has like millions of readers is still one of my big goals. So I have this book that it's written. It's, you know, sitting there waiting for me to pick back up and get going. So the next thing for me is to, you know, finish my book, get it out there, really put some effort into marketing it, really capitalize on a lot of the connections that I've made using, you know, my bookmarks.
Well, I think it's doable. It's going to be exciting, and we are so excited and proud of you and grateful that you could join us here on Mompreneurs. You have to tell everybody where they can find you, your incredible bookmark, and your book, and your upcoming book, and all of your other endeavors as well.
Absolutely. So my social medias are Love Corine Marie. And then my website is CorineMarie.com. And you can find everything that I offer on my website, CorineMarie.com.
Yay! And spell it for everyone so they know exactly how to spell it.
It's Corine, Marie, Marie.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This was amazing. This was a fun interview.
Well, you're a fun person, and we are thrilled for you and all of your success. And also to everyone listening, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening to and watching Mompreneurs. As a reminder, a brand new episode goes live every Monday on Urban One Podcast Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Visit urban1podcast.com to learn more. That's urban, the number one, podcast.com.